Hello men and gentle ladies, and welcome back to Surviving the Whiteout, where I am very tired. We have had a very stressful couple of days in this game. We had a very intense Foundry battle this Sunday, which was the most intense battle I've ever had in Foundry, and luckily we won with 2 minutes to spare. We've then been trying to organise the Frost Dragon Tyrant event in the state, which has been stressful because it's our first time and we're trying to figure out the best way to do it, so that's been fun. And there's been a number of other things going on in the state, and it's been a rough couple of days, if I'm honest. And I decided yesterday that I was going to take a couple of days off from the game just to reset a bit and just to relax, until I remembered that I have a YouTube channel based solely on this game. So, no break for me. But rather than having a deep dive into a topic and trying to help you to improve your scores in certain events, I thought I'd give you a look at something that a lot of players in this game won't actually get to experience. And that's what it's like to be the president of the state. So in this video, I want to talk about what you get from being president, the responsibilities that come with it, and what it really brings to you and your account, whether it's something you should aspire to do, and if it is as fun as it seems. And spoiler alert, no, it isn't. But firstly, how do you become the president of the state? And that is simply by winning the Sunfire Castle. So the battle for the Sunfire Castle happens every 2 weeks. The first time it will be just between everyone within your state, and then the time after that it will be state versus state, at least later on in the game. In the early game it will just be between your state for the first few times, but eventually you will face another state in order to become the supreme president. So you win by being the alliance that holds the castle for the longest time. The battle goes on for 5 hours, but if someone holds it for 2.5 hours consecutively, then that alliance is declared the winner. Once an alliance is declared the winner, the R5 of that state then gets to choose the president. They can either choose to elect themselves or choose to elect another player within their alliance. So if we go and have a look at the battle record and the Hall of Fame, you will see that we've had 5 different alliances hold the state presidency over the last 5 times. So we do a really good job in this state of rotating, not just between alliances, but also people within the alliances. So you can see that I currently represent XXI this time, but if we scroll back far enough, Shredolf, who is our R5, was the state president before that. So we do a really good job of rotating in this state. It's one of the most fair states that I've seen. It's only the second state I've been in, but it's much more fair than the previous state that I was in. And you can see also that we've had 3 consecutive supreme presidents, or not consecutive because the ones in between were just the state battles rather than state versus state. But we do a good job. We work well as a team. We've got a good group of people that work hard to make sure we win the event. We've got great whales who help us to win. And by rotating it across alliances and also across people, it just helps to spread the power a little bit, to not just allow one person to control everything, but have it work fairly. Our NAP works particularly well. People communicate well together. And because of that, our state is a good place to be. Now, as I mentioned, there are 2 different types of being a state president. There's a normal state president and there is a supreme state president. So the supreme is when you win SVS prep, which means you can go into the other state and fight for their castle. And if you win that as well, then you can elect a supreme president, which we've been able to do for 3 consecutive times. And this time it is my turn. But what's the difference between a normal president and a supreme president? Now, as a supreme president, you rule over 2 states, so you are the president of your own state and also the state in which you were victorious over. But not much changes in what you can do, other than the fact that you can stop the other state from applying for certain positions, or just open buffs for your own state rather than the other state. So you'll see on the screen just next to my messages tab, there's a little button which will appear when you are the president, which takes you to this page. And we'll go over everything on this page, what it means and what you get from it. But we're going to first just go to the appointments page to look at what it means to be the supreme president. So if we select one of the minister positions and we go for the vice president and we click in the bottom right there, it will take us to a box that has at the bottom something that says auto approval for applications from chiefs of the victorious state. Now, the reason for that is because we've locked the other state out so that we are the only ones that can hold these positions. So if we untick it and then choose to tick it again, it will take us to a screen that gives us this option. So we can choose to only open these positions to our state, or we can include the defeated state. For reasons that I will explain later, we have only locked it for our state. So anyone from the other state cannot apply. Well, they can apply for these positions. They do not get automatically approved and they get rejected by us. Another thing you can do, which again, we'll touch on this shortly, but when you open a buff statewide that everyone benefits from, again, you can choose to just have it work in your state or have it work in both states. So different states will handle this differently. My personal view on things, if things are done fairly and the fight is done respectfully, then week 1, the winning state holds all of the positions and locks the other state out, whereas in week 2, they open it up to everyone. Some people disagree and say that the winning state should hold the positions for the entire 2 weeks and you should lock the other state out completely. It's up to you. It's up to what NAP agrees. It's up to what that president agrees. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just about what seems most fair. For us, we've locked them out for very good reason. So firstly, this is the page that you look at when you click on that button, and it takes you to a nice little screen that shows you as the Supreme President sat on the throne with whichever hero you've chosen as your avatar. I've chosen Hector because he's an absolute beast and I love the man. Now, the first thing you can do at the top, you can actually change the name of your state, funnily enough. So rather than just having it named 2613, which is where we currently are, you can change the name of the state. I personally wouldn't. I think it should be something that's agreed by everyone. If you want to add a funky little name and you want to be fun with it, that's fine. But if you are the president, I wouldn't necessarily do that unless it's been agreed, because you don't want people to absolutely hate you. But the other thing you can do is change the flag in the top right. As you can see, I've added a British flag because I am indeed British. You can make it whatever you want. You can choose a funny option. You can choose which nationality is most represented in your state. It's really up to you. It doesn't really change much, but just pick what you want. Then another thing you can do on this page is send out a declaration every single day. So I haven't sent out a declaration today, so I can send out one if I wanted. I could write whatever I want, whether it's a particular event that's coming up, whether you want people to know of a certain buff that's about to be used. So it's useful to use this every day if something is happening. If you are using a boost, or you don't want people to use certain resources, or you want them to focus on something in particular, make sure you send it out. You can send it out at reset and you get one chance a day. So if you do make a spelling mistake, you can't correct it. Now on this page, there are 6 different buttons or 6 different things to press, which can give you different things and show different responsibilities. But we'll go to the one we've already looked at, which is appointment. Now you can go through, as I showed you previously, and automatically approve anything. So we currently have a system where anyone who approves from this state will automatically get approved. And these positions stay open for 30 minutes. So once you get accepted, you have that position for 30 minutes. If somebody doesn't apply straight after you, like you can see a couple of these have gone way more than 30 minutes, it's just because no one's applied. So as soon as somebody does apply for that position, they'll immediately replace these people. You can also lock them so that you have to approve every single one. For me, that's an absolute pain, so I wouldn't recommend that. But what you can do is press this little button just above, and you can add people to a block list. So if you want to have it completely open, but there's several people that you don't want to have those positions, you can add them. And if they apply, they'll automatically get rejected. Usually you don't want to use that unless there's a specific reason. We haven't added anyone to our block list because our state is a fair place to be and no one's ruining it. But if you need to add someone to the block list, that's the way I would recommend, rather than having to approve every single person applying to every single minister position. I'd open them up all automatically and then just add people to the block list that you don't want to have those positions. The one position that I wouldn't open is the Minister of the Interior. The reason for this is this person, as you can see here, has the power, if I can speak properly, has the power to appoint and remove officials in the president's place. So effectively, you choose somebody who you trust within your alliance that can make the decisions alongside you. So you don't have to do everything yourself. You can have somebody offer you support. This is particularly helpful during SVS prep when you're trying to organize people for different positions on the research day, on the construction day, on the troop training day. It means you can work together and both take that on rather than having one person to solely focus on it. So I wouldn't have this one open automatically. Just put somebody here that you trust and you know is going to make the right decisions and give you the support that you need. Now, the next tab on this, we've obviously looked at the minister positions, but the next one is the punishment tab. And this is where you can choose to put people in prison and give them different, rather than buffs, give them punishments. So reduce their construction speed, you can reduce their healing speed, you can take down all of their stats. Now, my recommendation for people is to not abuse this power. Don't go power hungry and just start putting anyone in prison that annoys you and offends you, because it's petty. And it shows that you probably aren't the best person to be state president anyway. How we use it in this state mostly is for funny punishments. You'll put someone in prison as a joke, and it's usually done with them knowing that it's a joke and it's fun. As long as people are on board and they understand that it's all fun and jest, then it's fine. If people start getting upset with it, then I just would avoid it. So only really do it to people you know, people you're friends with. For anyone that you don't know particularly well, probably avoid it. But the other reason to use it is for people who actually deserve to be punished, who actually deserve to have some of their stats taken down because of their actions in the game. So in our state, if we win, we're not going to automatically put the other state in prison because that's petty and it's childish, and we've already won anyway, so there's just no need for that. But the reason we've put these people in jail is for a very specific reason. So we found out in the lead up to SVS that this particular state was a state that was run by one alliance, which is ironic because their alliance is called One. Bit power hungry. But it turns out that players from this particular alliance were sending threatening messages to other people in their state saying if they didn't do things their way, then they would be burned. And some people were burned and some people were constantly attacked. These people are a bunch of power-hungry egotists. And you find this a lot in this game. People get a little bit of power, they spend more money in the game than other people, and they rise up the ranks and they suddenly think, we're good enough to run this state, we don't need anyone's help. You lost SVS. You lost to a state that works incredibly well together, that rotates the castle, that moves alliances, that comes up with tactics to help each other. You lost. And now you're in prison because you threatened people. Well done. But genuinely, if you are somebody in this game who acts like that, who gets a bit of power, lets it get to their head, and they threaten other people and abuse that position, genuinely just grow up. Like, seriously, just grow up. It's a mobile game. You've got a little bit of power in a mobile game. Oh, well done, you're so powerful. Pathetic. Grow up. The game's fun. The game needs to be fun. Don't take it too seriously. Do the best you can to win. If you're in a state that treats you like this and that threatens to burn you because you don't do things a certain way, get transfer passes and get out, because it's going to be a miserable time there. I came from a similar state, not quite as bad as this one, but a similar state, and my experience in the game changed a lot once I left. So just don't stay in a state like that. And if you're in an alliance like this and they treat other people in the state like this, stand up to them. Don't be part of that. Like, sure, you're going to win certain things, you're going to get benefits, but you're also losing a bit of dignity. So my advice, don't be like these people. Don't be like One, otherwise you're going to end up in prison. Now, the next button at the bottom is the one that says Presidential Skills, and this is one we looked at again briefly earlier, but these are certain things that you can do to help your state. Now, the first one I didn't actually realise and I didn't use at all, but you actually get a chance to give yourself some free gems every single day. So you can see it has 3 uses every single day, costing 27,000, whenever those things are, and it gives you 300, 400 and 500 gems every time you use it. So we can use it once, get 300 gems, use it twice, get 400, use it again, get 500. I didn't realize you could do this every single day, so if you are the president, make sure you're making use of that as long as there is enough of this currency left, because we'll look at what else costs this currency just below. You then have a number of these buffs, so you have one that increases lethality, which we have used today for Crazy Joe and Frostmine, although I didn't do it early enough, so my state is slightly annoyed with me. But the others are used predominantly during SVS prep, during training day, during construction and research days. So usually on Monday, Tuesday and Thursday of SVS prep week. Sometimes they're used for other events as well. We personally haven't used them for those events because we want to encourage people to save for prep. So we're not using these buffs so that people don't suddenly go, oh, now I can do loads of building upgrades. We'd rather people save for prep. So all of those are used for SVS prep. The President's Will one is used whenever you particularly want to use it and give your state that buff. But the medical advancement one is used straight after the castle battle. So as soon as the castle battle finishes, because most people have been healing all day and will have a lot of injured troops, just means that healing happens a little bit faster, particularly when it's after the SVS castle battle and people are going to the other state and burning cities and there's a lot of attacks going on. It's the best time to use it. So if you are made state president, the second you get that position, this is the first thing that you do. And the final 3 things on this page are, again, things that cost this currency. Now, the first one is a ceasefire, and I can't really... What's he saying? He's constantly posting song lyrics. Now, those first 2, so ceasefire and forced exile, annoyingly yesterday, I had to use them in quick succession in a split-second decision. So something happened and we had to quickly make that decision, or I had to quickly make that decision. Would have made for a great video. If only I was filming then. And I'm not now, but I am still going to use one of those so you can see what it looks like. But the ceasefire one is pointless to show because it won't actually show anything on screen. You won't see anything change, but it simply stops a chief from being able to attack for an hour. So you can use that to bring a little bit of peace and bring a little bit of calm and stop any unwarranted attacks from happening. Now, the forced exile one is something that I am going to show you, but I can't show you right now because we're just about to start Crazy Joe, so I can't use this and shoot somebody across the other side of the map. So instead, I'm going to film it a little bit later, although I am going to put it in the video next. So I'm confusing myself and you for no apparent reason. But over to me in the future. Thank you, me from the past. Now, the forced exile we're going to look at now, because I don't have a real reason to use it, I'm going to have to use someone as a bit of a guinea pig. So, sorry, Lucy, but you are gone. So what we can do is we can click on someone's city. You can see that right now she's right next to me. She's my neighbor to the left. We can use the skill, scroll down to forced exile, click that, and she's gone. See ya. So usually this skill is used if you need to move somebody desperately, if they're in the wrong space. I'm actually going to quickly occupy that because someone definitely will try and move in and take that. So let me occupy that quickly. But it's used if somebody is in the wrong place, if they're annoyingly in the wrong place at bear trap and they're refusing to move, then the president can yeet them out of there so they're no longer taking that spot. So it's not something that will need to be used often. It's just really if someone's in the wrong place and they're being annoying and they're not following instructions properly. So hopefully it's not something people have to use regularly, but if you do, that's how you do it. And as soon as you press it, they get sent off somewhere randomly on the map. In fact, we can probably see how far she got sent. So we can see there she is, so not too far away from our base, but it shoots people right across the map to a random location, and it puts a shield on them. So if you exile them, it not only moves them, but it puts a shield on them for 2 hours, I want to say. Let me go back and quickly check. It puts a shield on for 10 hours. Oh wow, that's longer than I thought. So she has a shield for 10 hours, so no one can attack her. So it gets them out of the way, but it also keeps them safe. Now I'm going to have to message her to say sorry, but she can now come back. Now back to my past self in the studio. I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much. Now the final one is the state search, which gives you the option to find any chief on the map. So if there's someone you can't find, if an alliance is looking for a particular player, you can just use that to find out exactly where they are on the map. Reasons for that will vary. It may be someone who's caused a bit of trouble. It may just be somebody you're trying to reinforce. Whatever the reason is, it costs 18,000 to use. So all of these are limited. You can see the top two can be used 14 times and the bottom one can be used 56 times. And these are the things that use that currency. So I would maybe, if these are things you're having to use regularly, then I maybe wouldn't use the gem one. I don't really know how much all of these things cost once they add up. I could probably work it out, but maths isn't my strong point. And my advice is to use these sparingly, so don't use them any chance you get. Don't necessarily use these as a joke, because people will have to use teleports and spend some currency to be able to get back to their previous spot. So only really use it if it's necessary. Don't abuse this power too much. If these are things you are going to be abusing, again, it's probably a reason why you shouldn't be president. And the final button on this page is the bottom right one, which says grant. And no, that is not referring to a man named Grant. That is referring to you being able to grant people certain rewards. So as soon as you're made president, you have the ability to give people different levels of commendations. The top two are usually reserved for people that really helped swing the fight or helped organize the battle. Then the 10 for those that made the biggest difference. And then the next 50 for those, again, that made a big difference to that particular battle. Different ones give you different rewards. So you can see the top one gives you a pretty decent amount of rewards. The next one's slightly less. And the final one's slightly less again. So these are usually, again, reserved for people that have made a big difference in the SVS battle or just made a difference to the state in general. Now we allocate a number of these to each alliance. So each alliance gets to put forward a certain number of names of people that should get these rewards. As you can see, we haven't used them all because I'm still waiting on people to get back to me with some of those names. If people don't get back, then I'll make that decision and think about who made the biggest difference and try to reward everyone that helped us win that battle. So there are three final things to look at on this page, which are the three buttons underneath the flag in the top right. And we'll start with the bottom one. And this is simply the skins that you get when you become president. So this is what your city skin becomes. It doesn't give you any buff. So usually a city skin will give you a 2% troop attack boost, I think. And you don't get that from this. But the other one you get is this little blimp that you can use as a march skin. Again, it doesn't give you an increase in your marching speed, but it's fun. It's something that I'm not looking forward to saying goodbye to. I quite like it. It was really fun being in Foundry and attacking people with this. I felt very powerful, so I'm going to miss it next Foundry when I'm back to my rubbish skins. Although they're not rubbish, but they're just not quite as good as this. The next button, which is that middle one, which looks like a present, is your president pack. Now, this changes slightly. If you are a supreme president, you get slightly more rewards. And this is just what you get once you get assigned to be the president. You have to make sure you click here and claim it, which I obviously did straight away. So make sure if you are the president that you click that button and you claim those rewards because, you know, you get paid for doing this job. So thank you very much. And the final one is one that I didn't really understand fully. So the top one tells you the boosts that you get from being president. So you get a 7.5 boost to your troop attack, troop defense, troop lethality, and troop health, which is amazing. It's a great buff to have. It made a huge difference to me in Foundry on Sunday, so I was very grateful for that. But I didn't realize what changing it actually meant, which is ironic because there's a massive change button and I just didn't think that I could. Sometimes I'm an idiot. But if you click change, it gives you the opportunity to change it to any of the other buffs from the minister positions. So you can get the buffs from being the vice president, you can get the buffs from being the Minister of the Interior, you can choose whichever one you want, and you can change it every 5 minutes. Now this is great because for the buff that you get given from being the president, this is incredible when you're in battles, but when you're passively just playing the game, it doesn't really give you much. So what you can do instead, which I've done, is prioritize different ones at different times. So when I go to sleep or when I have a big break from the game, I will choose the Minister of the Interior position because it's going to give you that production speed in your city. When I'm training troops or when I'm just about to train troops, I will use the Minister of Education, so it gives me a training speed and a boost to my capacity. And then when I'm doing research or construction, I will use the Vice President one. And you can change it every 5 minutes. So when your troops are finished training and you want to now set up a new lot to go, just simply change to the Minister of Education, change your troops or train your troops, set them all up, and then 5 minutes later, come back and choose whichever one you want. So you can see that mine's currently on a cooldown of just under 3 minutes because I recently changed mine, although I wrongly changed it to this, thinking we're just about to have Crazy Joe, so that would be a great one to use. But actually, it would probably make more sense to use this one because that's going to give me more capacity. So it just gives you the chance to play around, use whichever one you want. So if you are the president, make the most of this and change it as many times during the day as you can to make sure you're benefiting as much as you can. So that's mostly what we can do on the president page. I don't think there's anything more to show, but that's really what it looks like. It's quite fun and it's quite cool. As it is Tuesday, it is Lucky Wheel Day. So while we're here, I am just going to go and spin the Lucky Wheel just to see how we do. On the last time we spun the Lucky Wheel, I think we got 177 shards for Renee. And we currently have 2, so it'll be easy to work out how many we get from this. So let's go to the Lucky Wheel, spin it. Let's claim this free one first. Let's see how we do compared to last time. So we don't want to see that message because we know what we're doing. So the first time we spin it, okay, we got 4. That's not great, but it's fine. Next one, we got, 13. That's my record. My record before was 12. 13, baby. Spin again. It took me a long time to work out that was 10, so I'm probably going to stop doing this because it's going to be embarrassing when I can't work it out. We've got another 5 there. We've got 2 5s there, so we got 12 again. This is big. This is going all right, this. Going again. I spoke too soon. 6. We'll take it. Again, today is going pretty well. 9. It's going much better than last time. 6, not too bad. 7, not too bad. 3, bad. 4, I don't know why I'm making a sound effect every single time. Okay, so we got 8 there. This has definitely been better than last time. We'll do that last spin now. We got 2. Typical. We'll go and claim these rewards. We get the 5, we get the 10, get the 20, get the 30, and get the 50. So we had 177 last time. So now we're going to have a look. We have to take away 2 from the total. We got 199. That's much better than... I think that's the best Lucky Wheel I've ever had. Why could I not have this luck when I did a wheel specifically about the Lucky Wheel? But no, very happy with that. That's definitely the most I've ever got, so absolutely thrilled. So we'll be able to get Renee to a decent level. So that was just a slight whistle-stop tour to Lucky Wheel while we're here, just so I could at least record it and see how well we did. I'm very happy about that. So my final bit of advice when it comes to the presidency is it something that you should want and aspire to have? And my honest answer is not really. Like, it's a privilege, and I felt honoured to be chosen by the state and also by my R5. It's a genuine honour, and I'm happy to do it. But it is a little bit of work. It can be a lot of work. Now, I'm quite lucky this time because state transfers got delayed. I had much less responsibilities than usual. So usually a state president will have to either organise SVS prep and do all of the buffs and organise the battle with the other president of the state or the opposing state. And if you are the supreme president or the president that happens straight after SVS, then you've got to be in charge of state transfers. But because of the Frost Dragon Tyrant event, which is just about to happen this week, and because of the state mergers that are happening soon, the state transfers got delayed, which meant I had much less responsibilities than most state presidents had. So I should feel very lucky about that because I didn't have to do half the things that they did. But when you do have those added responsibilities, this can become a lot of hard work. If you've got to be in charge of transfers and talk to hundreds of people that want to transfer to your state, make sure you send invites to the right people. If you've got to organise the SVS battle, make sure people teleport to the right place, talk to the other state and organise everything. It can be stressful. It can genuinely be a lot. So if you do get this position, if you do become the president of your state or the supreme president of two states, have fun with it. Take it seriously at the same time and try to do the best that you can for your state. And most importantly, don't let the power go to your head. Because I've seen a lot of presidents where the power does get to their head and they become dictators and start ruining the game for a lot of people. Like the state we just beat. So you don't suddenly get the power to run and rule the state exactly how you want. You don't get an insane amount of power. The responsibilities that come with it aren't incredible. So just have fun with it and try to make sure you stay fair to your state and be a president that they enjoy having. So my reign will be over this Saturday. I will get replaced during the Sunfire Castle battle then. And honestly, bring it on. So thank you to State 2613 for putting up with me as president for the last week and for the next week to come as well. Thank you to Shred, my R5, who chose me to have this position. Very grateful and very honoured to lead this state for this short period of time. And hopefully if you ever get the position of president, then you can help your state to survive the whiteout. Thanks very much. Peace.